Good morning, San Diego. I'm Eve Nasby. Welcome to Operation American Dream. We have an amazing show for you today, a Cinderella story of a homeless veteran who's now an award recipient from the Chamber of Commerce here in San Diego. We're going to hear from Cal State San Marcos, and we're going to take a look at the economic impact that the military's had on San Diego. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Operation American Dream. I'm Eve Nasby, and as promised, we're in studio with a Cinderella story that you're not going to want to miss. Kalani, welcome to our show. You are from Canines and Camis, is that right?
Camis and Canines.
Camis and Canines, and you have an incredible story. And we're going to get into that a little bit later, but truly a rags to riches story, a Cinderella story of being one of our nation's unfortunate veteran homeless statistics and now turned into a business entrepreneur. And I'm so excited to have you on the show. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So tell us about your company and what it is that you're doing and how you got started.
So Camis and Canines is a story about veterans coming together to make a difference in the community. We make dog products and sell dog products and then use that money to reach out to homeless veterans. We've got dog collars and leashes, and we have dog bones, and if you don't have a dog, we also have t-shirts that you can buy, but we use all of that money to create care packages for the homeless vets here in San Diego. And in that care package, we give them clean socks, t-shirt, toothpaste, toothbrush, and a meal. Interestingly enough, their most favorite item in that care package are brand new socks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for some of them, we go above and beyond. If they really need help, if they tell us what it is that they need, we will make it happen. Some of them just need a bus pass for the month so that they could get to their VA appointment. We've done that. We've also worked with a homeless vet who was 27 years of age, living under an overpass for some time.
Wow.
Camis and Canines paid his hotel room for an entire week and worked to get him a full ride scholarship into a men's group.
Oh my gosh. You know what, Kalani, that's amazing. So here are some of the products that you make, but I think what is so, first of all, tell us what's so special about these dog bones and the things that you're making.
Yeah, so the dog bones are actually made from used camis. They've served all over the world, and once they come back here, they usually get tucked away in somebody's garage once they get out of the Marine Corps or whatever branch of the service. And we have found a way to repurpose the camis with a purpose. Just like the homeless vets out on the street, we're trying to repurpose them and give them a mission and give them a purpose so that they could feel whole again and soon become productive citizens in our San Diego community.
I love it. I love what you do. It's got the squeaky in here. You've got these leashes, and here is the packet that you're actually giving to the homeless veterans to help them along with the socks. You're doing so much for the community. It's incredible. How can we support you in what you're doing? I mean, are these things for sale at flea markets? Where can we find these products?
Well, every week in Camis and Canines is out in the community. We're either helping homeless vets, or the other half of our team is at some type of dog event or farmer's market or what have you, and selling the products. You could also go online to www.camisandcanines.com where you'll find all of those products, except for those dog bones. I gotta tell you, those things fly off the shelves, and I can't even.
You're not leaving the studio with this one.
They squeak.
They do. I love that part. So you not only make these yourself, you also invite homeless folks to come to you to make these, right? And you're paying them an hourly wage.
I'm paying them a wage, and it's one of the many ways that I have found an opportunity for these homeless vets to get off the streets and do something productive. Again, helping them find meaning, maybe not their entire life, but give them meaning for the day, give them something to work towards. They don't have to go on the corner and pan for money. They can come in, a place to call home, a place where they feel welcome and make and make a living.
Awesome. So tell us how we can support you, because I know the best is yet to come. You've got a crowdfunding campaign coming up. Tell us about that and how we can get involved.
Yeah, so Camis and Canines, by tons of interest and really the demand from our community, Camis and Canines is going to pivot. And we're going to move towards the doggy daycare arena. And we need help. We need help to get there. And what separates our doggy daycare from everybody else's is that our daycare is going to be staffed with veterans with service-connected disabilities, men and women who could benefit from a puppy's companionship.
Right.
There's been so much research that shows that dogs that just have nothing but unconditional love for you can really serve a veteran with PTSD, some type of depression, or any other service-connected disability.
Right. They make a big difference. So Kalani, thank you so much for being on this part of our show, but we're gonna not let you go because you have an incredible story of being homeless just 12 months ago. And now you were nominated for Small Business Award in the Cinderella category with the San Diego Chamber of Commerce. We want to hear more of your story. We'll be right back with more of Kalani and Camis to Canines. Don't go away.
Much like in the military, nobody accomplishes the mission by themselves. I have support. I have a lot of support from men, from women, from the VA, friends, family. But it wasn't until I started opening my mouth and talking and admitting I had an issue, I had a problem, and seeking help. It wasn't easy. It's probably the toughest thing I've gone through. Probably tougher than going to boot camp.
Welcome back to Operation American Dream. As promised, we have Kalani back from Camis and Canines to talk about his story of homelessness here on the streets in San Diego. Kalani, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, you served our nation in the Marines. Tell us about that.
So I joined the Marine Corps back in 2006, right after I finished school, right here in San Diego, University of San Diego.
Oh, wow.
2006, just really wanted to serve my country. It was really a lifelong dream as a child to be a Marine, just like my dad.
Yeah.
Served the Marine Corps for 10 years. During that time, I was a supply officer over at 2-6, 2nd Battalion, 6th Marines, and we deployed with the 2-6 MEU. After that, I had the opportunity of coming here to San Diego and was at MCRD San Diego.
Okay.
Had the honor and privilege of working with some of the greatest Marines and drill instructors, and had the opportunity to be part of the Marine making process. After that, I was then stationed over with 23rd Marines, where I was the assistant logistics officer, and had the opportunity to deploy with a small detachment. We went out to Jordan and trained the Jordanian Armed Forces.
Wow.
Yeah, so during that time, much like many other Marines out there, I experienced some hardships. I've already been divorced twice, and every single one of those experiences completely derailed my life. But just like the first experience, the second experience, there was some gold that came out of it. And this last one, you know, I lost my dogs, and I didn't realize how much those dogs meant to me until they were gone. And I needed help at the time, and I didn't know what was going on. And I reached out to my command, and I asked them if I could get help, if I could take some time off and get myself better. And, you know, the Marines were real good about taking care of each other. And so after raising my hand and I got some help from the VA, I decided that I needed to just spend some time by myself. I didn't want to talk to anybody unless you were wearing the uniform with me, unless you knew the handshake, unless you were part of the gun club. I wasn't talking to you. Partly because I felt it was a waste of time.
So your whole mindset kind of shifted after losing everything, and now you're at rock bottom, living on the streets. What was that turning point for you? What happened to get you to now this award recipient or nominee
Yeah.
for Best Business 12 months later? What was that turning point?
Well, after going from one 24-hour fitness to another just that I could take a shower for the next day, I had joined a men's group called the Mankind Project, and that really was the starting of my turning point. So I continued to go to my group sessions, and MKP, Mankind Project, was a place where for the first time in my life, I was able to touch my feelings, face the skeletons in my closet, and be okay with it. I didn't have to run away from myself. And then it was during that time when a man, Dominic Mazzotti, part of MKP, finally stood up in circle and said, I can no longer allow this man, a Marine, to stay on the streets knowing that I've got an empty room in the house. So he brought me into his home, and he asked me a very simple question, which is, if you had all the resources, you could do anything you wanted to do, what would you do? And it was then that I realized I wanted to open up a doggy daycare because I had missed, and still do miss, my dogs. They absolutely were a big part in my life. I just didn't know it back then. And if they could truly touch me in that way, imagine what they could do for all the other veterans out there. So I wanted to do this doggy daycare, and I want to create a situation where vets have a place where they could call home, where they could come and be with all of their other brothers and sisters and reestablish that camaraderie, that esprit de corps, and participate in something that is much bigger than themselves. So when he asked me that question, I said I wanted to do a doggy daycare. And my first step was to create these dog products. And for the past year, we've been out on the streets just building up a brand name and getting ourselves known through the products that we have, collars, leashes.
And now you're being sold in the biggest pet store in San Diego.
That's right.
Right?
So
we can find you there. We can find you online. We're going to run your website across the bottom of the screen so people know how they can buy these products and how they can support you in your crowdfunding, because I think what you've done is amazing. You have an incredible story. And we're running out of time now, but we definitely want to encourage our viewers to go online, go to his website, buy these products, check him out, and support all that he's doing. Camis and Canines with Kalani. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being a part of our show. We'll be right back with more of Operation American Dream. Don't go away.
All right, welcome back to Operation American Dream. We're going to be talking about education. Education, obviously, a pillar of veteran services, something that leads really heavily, obviously, into one of the main pillars that we discuss on the show all the time, which is employment, entrepreneurship. Education, obviously, being important, more so than just getting a piece of paper, right? Getting the tools to succeed in society. And we've got some absolutely phenomenal guests to help us walk us through it from a great organization that's very committed to the veteran community up there in San Marcos. Well, in San Diego, but you guys are located in San Marcos. So Dr. Patricia Riley is the Director of Veteran Services, and Rich Sharon is the Military Affairs Coordinator at Cal State University San Marcos. How are you guys?
Great. How are you?
So you guys both have military backgrounds. Why don't you take me through your history in the military?
Well, I was a Navy commander, and actually I retired in 1995. So I'm Vietnam era. End of Vietnam is when I came into the Navy. Did a wide variety of things all around the world. Met the love of my life, and
That's a plus.
Yeah. And so loved my time in the Navy, and only matched now by the wonderful job at Cal State San Marcos. I love working with our veterans.
Yeah, I was going to say you get to stay connected with the community that way. And then, Rich, you were the station sergeant major at Miramar?
That's correct. I was the station sergeant major upon retiring after 30 years in the Marine Corps, and held various billets from 53 crew to deck commander on embassy duty to company first sergeant and, of course, battalion sergeant major.
53s, man. Pretty
Loved
big
them.
bird you got there.
Loved them. Miss crewing them every day.
I bet, man. We were on the Stennis and one landed on the and it took everything we had not to get blown all in 5 different directions. You know, very cool. So how do you guys get connected? Obviously, how long have you been at Cal State San Marcos?
I've been there a couple of years, and then I was teaching and before at USD and San Diego State, and I also started the Troops to Engineers program at San Diego State. And that's how I met President Haynes and got this wonderful job at Cal State San Marcos working with the whole veteran program up there.
And then, Rich, you recently...
I recently started at Cal State San Marcos. I retired on July 1st and met Dr. Riley at a networking event. And I've been there 2 months, and it's been an extreme honor to keep helping veterans and still stay in the San Diego community and working with the great city of San Diego and San Marcos.
How do your roles work? So you're the director of overall of Veteran Services, and then you're the military affairs coordinator. What does that all entail?
Well, one thing that when sometimes the universe conspires to make things happen, and we were really looking for somebody to do outreach for us, especially with the Marines, and since we have such a large Marine presence in our area.
Sure.
And I knew Eve and Corporate Alliance, and I like to get out and do networking for our veterans because that's really a big focus of ours at Cal State San Marcos. It's education, but it's also what are you going to do after your education.
Absolutely.
And I was at a networking event at Corporate Alliance, and I had just been thinking, we really need to find somebody good to do outreach. And there was Rich, and it was
awesome.
like the universe conspired to put him there and have me meet him, I think. And then I was just hoping he would want to come because we had a position opening up. And so I contacted him and said, please consider applying for this position.
You guys have an amazing reputation. I mean, you got Erica Korb there kind of on there, and Moses Maddox, and
Yes.
now, with yourself, it's an amazing team that you have.
we do.
And that's kind of formed, if you think about North County and think about kind of schools, I mean, tell me about Cal State San Marcos' reputation and what you guys have been able to achieve within like service to the veteran community.
Well, I think a couple of things that really separate us from other universities, public universities, and non-public, is our attention to grad day +1, as Moses likes to call it. And we really
What happens after?
Yes, we really want to see our veterans have a wonderful experience in college, but then cross the stage with a diploma in one hand and a great job offer in the other. So our focus always is make it as seamless as possible to be successful in college. So we put a lot of emphasis on getting them certified. Another great person on our team is Vicki Hernandez, who does our certifying. She's our main certifying official. Then professional development, academic counseling, so our student veterans are successful in school and finish on time. We want them to not have to take out loans. We want them to finish with what they have in GI Bill. And then professional development. And so that's what we're doing, is networking, preparing them professionally to step into that wonderful post-education career, sustainable career.
Yeah, absolutely. Rich, what do you think I mean, as a community overall, what do you think we're doing right? What do you think we're doing? Is San Diego doing a relatively good job? You being recently transitioned, right?
Yes. I think San Diego is doing a great job at helping our veterans. I mean, everybody on the administration and Mayor Faulkner on down has been tremendous support for all the veterans. I've seen it when I was sitting at the seat as the Station Sergeant Major of Miramar, and I know it's the same way for Camp Pendleton and the Depot and 32nd Street for our Navy. I think there's big support, and there's so many different venues and people within San Diego, businesses that are always willing to help. Of course, they all come together at a place like Corporate Alliance and SD-MAC.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I hear too. Is that San Diego tends to be really on the cutting. What are some of the challenges at Cal State San Marcos that you run into, and what are the things that we can help with?
Well, I tell you, one thing that we feel is really important for veterans are internships. we find if we can get a veteran into a good internship, a paid internship, they need paid internships because most of our veterans, our average age veteran at Cal State San Marcos is 29. They have families. If we can get them in a good paid internship, they develop mentors. They learn how much they actually know. They really know a lot. They develop confidence. And after doing an internship, what we find is we'll get a veteran into an internship, and then we get a call from an employer saying, can you just clone that guy and send me 3 more?
You know what I really find from talking to Moses and being around your school quite a bit also is that you're not committed to just finding an internship. You're committed to finding the right internship with the right people. And I really appreciate what you guys are doing up there. If I always tell people if anybody's a veteran and they're looking in North County for a great school, Cal State San Marcos is an amazing choice. And I just appreciate you guys coming on.
Well, we are high touch. We like to get to know our veterans. They're not numbers, they're a name, and I think that's why we do so well in the rankings also. I mean, we were the only we were the only public university in California in the top 25 military-friendly universities nationwide.
Wow. Well, that says a lot.
Yeah.
And the work that you guys are doing shows. So again, I appreciate you guys coming on. If you guys out there wanted to get more involved or look into education at Cal State San Marcos, you can take a look at their URL below. Thank you guys again for coming on. We'll be right back with more Operation American Dream.
Welcome back to Operation American Dream. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, in studio with 2 of my most favorite people. They're probably the smartest people I know. Welcome to the show, Dr. Reeser from Point Loma Nazarene University, Chief Economist, and Ward Wilson from SDMAC. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the reason you're here is because, Dr. Reeser, you just released an incredible study that talks about the economic impact that the military has upon our fair city. So I'm going to ask you to talk about that because I think the statistics are staggering. The billions of dollars, the hundreds of thousands of jobs that are brought here. I don't think a lot of people really think about that. So tell us about your study.
These numbers are enormous, Eve. We find that $23 billion is coming into our economy each year
$23 billion.
To pay for the salaries of all our military employees and civilians, to pay for veterans and retiree benefits, and also in the form of defense contracts, research grants, and even some tourist-related dollars. And that's really just the starting point, because once those dollars arrive, then you find that companies are buying goods and supplies, consumers are spending money. And so when you roll it all up and look at all the multiplier effects that take place, it turns out that the military, directly and indirectly, are responsible for 1 out of every 5 jobs, or 300,000 positions in San Diego County.
That is tremendous. Now, you touched on something curious, because I think the spend numbers for the military is even greater than the spend numbers for tourism. So, and you touched on that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we always think of tourism, but we find that the whole defense establishment and the complex is a very complicated ecosystem, and it touches not only the Marines and the sailors that you see, but also all the defense contractors, the shipyards, the science research projects that are taking place in the universities. And you can look at the defense business here as really being a supercluster.
Yes.
So it even reaches into tourism. So it really is our most dominant industry here. It represents 1/5 of our total economy, about $45 billion of our total output.
Wow. And I think something else that you had mentioned at the press conference when you released the study a couple days ago is that we've got all these people that are graduating from MCRD.
Yes.
And then their friends and family come to see them graduate. So talk about that dynamic.
Correct. We are a real magnet for tourism because if you think of all the military people who live here, they have their relatives and their friends come visit them, so that brings in additional tourist dollars. And what happens over at the Marine Corps Recruiting Depot, every year we have 42 graduations. And in this past year, 16,000 Marines have graduated, and they brought in 63,000 members of their family and their friends to see these graduations. This is a big deal in their lives, and
huge.
so those are all important aspects of helping hotels and restaurants and entertainment venues.
Right. And you bring up such a great point because the military has a synergistic relationship with our economy, and they indeed fuel, you said, a fifth of it. And so we've got SDMAC, and we've got Ward Wilson here from SDMAC, which is kind of that glue between those two entities, if I may be so bold. Talk a little bit about who SDMAC is, Ward.
So SDMAC got started back in 2004, and we, as you mentioned, we do live at that intersection of trying to connect our elected officials, our civic officials, our community leaders with the military, and that's active duty, veterans, and reserves. So we serve to help them coordinate, collaborate, and communicate across the spectrum.
That's excellent. And you've got monthly meetings, and tell us the types of people that come to these meetings and their influence in our community.
Sure. We have a monthly breakfast meeting where we'll have influential military speakers come to San Diego. For example, we just had the Secretary of the Navy just a few weeks ago. And the good thing about these breakfast meetings is that they're open to the public. Anyone can come to the breakfast. Anyone can join SDMAC. All that information is on the website, www.sdmac.org.
Excellent. And you also served in the military, and you were a Naval Surface Warfare Officer?
I was surface warfare for 20 years, from 1980 to 2000. Served on a variety of ships, amphibious ships, combatant ships, East Coast, West Coast, overseas. But they saved the best home port for last right here in San Diego.
I absolutely agree with you. Well, thank you so much for all that you've done for our country, and thank you for all that you're doing for San Diego and bringing this information to light, because I think that makes us appreciate our military all that much more. So Dr. Reeser from Point Loma Nazarene University, Chief Economist, and Ward Wilson from SDMAC, thank you so much for being a part of our show, and thanks for all you're doing for San Diego.
You're welcome.
We'll be right back with more of Operation American Dream. Don't go away. Welcome back to Operation American Dream. Daniel, we have had a great show today. Cinderella, Rags to Riches story, Cal State San Marcos, SDMAC. It just doesn't get any better than this.
We keep having great guests, and that's what makes great shows. And if you want to see more great shows, follow us on OperationAmericanDream.tv. Look us up on social media. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.